Hello, my name is Gabriel, and today I'll be telling the story of how Jesus died and how he got resurrected. Jesus knew that he was going to die soon, so he decided to have a last meal with his disciples, a last Passover even. A Passover is like where you like get together and you eat food, so it's like a celebration. Now, you might be wondering, wait, Jesus is going to die? Wait, but first of all, how did he know that? Second of all, why is he going to die? Well, Jesus, he has his 12 disciples and all. There was one disciple, his name was Judas, and some Pharisees came to him and they were like, hey, Judas, so you're one of Jesus' disciples, right? So if you're one of his disciples, that means you're probably close to Jesus, right? In case you don't know, he kind of really hates Jesus. He's disrespecting our ways, and he's kind of breaking a few laws, and we need to get rid of him. So basically, what we want you to do is that we'll pay you some money, and then you will show us where Jesus is so we can capture him and then kill him. And Judas was like, I like money, so okay. So at the Passover, Jesus was showing where everyone could sit. Jesus was also washing everyone's feet, which is kind of weird because that's what a servant would do, but Jesus is not a servant. And then Peter was like, no, there's no way you're washing my feet. You're not a servant. And then Jesus was like, Peter, I have to wash your feet, or else that's bad. Jesus was like, everyone should do stuff for one another. And then Peter was like, okay, then don't only wash my feet, but also wash my hands and my whole body. And Jesus was like, okay, that's a little bit too much. I'll just wash your feet. And Peter was like, okay. So after everyone got their feet washed by Jesus, Jesus was like, okay, do this for other people too. And then the Passover was actually starting. So Jesus took some bread and he broke it. He said, so this is my body, here, take it. And everyone ate the bread. And then Jesus also took out some wine and he poured it into some cups and gave it to his disciples. And he was like, this is my blood, take it here and drink. And then everyone drank the wine. About when the Passover was about to end, Jesus was like, hey, by the way, disciples, someone here is going to betray me. And everyone was like, oh, what? Oh, that's so crazy. Wow. Oh my goodness. Who's gonna do it? Oh no, it's not me, definitely. And then Jesus whispered into Judas's ear, hey, what you gotta do, just do it quickly. And Judas was like, oh shoot, he knows. Okay, I'm gonna go, guys. Bye. And then Judas just left. So after the Passover was finished, Jesus was like, okay, let's go somewhere because I need to pray, And his disciples followed him. After they reached the spot, Jesus, he started to pray, and his disciples, they weren't really praying with him, they kind of just fell asleep. Judas, on the other hand, he was getting the soldiers to arrest Jesus. Judas knows a spot where Jesus prays sometimes. So Jesus was praying. He knew that he was going to be arrested this night. He was eventually going to be killed. Jesus was praying to God. He was like, God, I know that this is probably going to be pretty intense, but I know that you know what you're doing, so I trust you. Soon after that, Judas and the soldiers came. The soldiers were like, hey, Judas, right here, which one is Jesus? And then Judas was like, okay, I'll show you. And then Judas kissed Jesus on the cheek. And Jesus was like, you're really betraying me with a kiss? Peter was like, that's it, I'm gonna cut off a soldier's ear with my sword. And then Jesus was like, don't do that. But he did do that. He literally cut a soldier's ear off with a sword. But Jesus healed it, Peter, put your sword back into its place. It's fine, I knew this was going to happen. I'm gonna get arrested and stuff. Okay, and the soldiers took him. So after that, all the disciples were like, oh no, what? Oh, this is crazy. Oh, what do we do? And they're screaming everywhere. Maybe they didn't scream, but they probably did scream. Their literal leader was arrested. They didn't know it yet, but he was going to die. After Jesus got arrested, he was taken to this place where lots of people were gathered, and some of his disciples followed him. And Peter was there. So earlier, before Jesus got arrested, Jesus told Peter, before the rooster crows, you're gonna deny me 3 times. Peter was like, that's not gonna happen. But then while Peter was around the place where Jesus was getting arrested, and lots of people were there, a girl, she was like, hey, aren't you a disciple of Jesus? Peter said, nuh-uh. Another person came over and said, hey, aren't you with him or something, friends with him? And Peter was like, nuh-uh. And another man was like, hey, you kind of look like Jesus. Do you know him? And then Peter was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I do not know him. Then the rooster crowed. Peter was like, oh no, what have I done? I am a horrible person. Now I'm depressed. Peter was really sad that he did that. So anyways, after that very sad moment, Jesus was going to be tried by Pilate, who was like a pretty important person, because Jesus, like, people thought he was going to be king. The ruler at that time was like Caesar. This was like Rome. So like, the people were like, oh, we gotta take this to Pilate so he'll decide what to do with this person. And then like they took Jesus to Pilate, and Pilate was like, hey, so you're Jesus, right? Is it true that you're gonna be king one day? You're gonna take over or something? Jesus was like, my kingdom is in heaven, and that's how I'll be king and stuff. And Pilate was like, you know what? You seem like a nice guy, but I don't really know what to do, so I'll talk to the crowds. So Pilate went outside, and he said to the crowds, hey, everyone, so this is Jesus right here, yeah, so what do you want to do to him? You seem to not really like him. And everyone was like, hey, Jesus, crucify him, we want to crucify him. Now, this is where we'll end the story today, but we will continue the story next time.